Hey there, this is Margaret Gill and welcome to my top 10 speaking tips. Today we're going to take a look at what you should do when you get to the venue. And this is really important. You think, oh, well, Margaret, wouldn't you just go on? Yeah, yes and no, yes and no. There's many things that you can do, and the one that I'm going to talk to you about is the one that you're going to avoid, because oh man, did I avoid it in the early days. I avoided this tip more than I avoided taking the sign with my name on it. And the two are related. So what you have to do when you get to the venue is get yourself set up as quickly as you can. And in the last video, we talked about being organized and making sure that you've got everything ready and good to go. So when you get to the venue, all you have to do is unpack and everything's there. Everything's all set out. So get that done first. Get yourself ready to go on first. And if you're using PowerPoint, get your PowerPoint set up really quickly, because that's, if you've ever noticed a speaker, PowerPoint is their nightmare. If something's going to go wrong, it will generally be with the projector and a projector talking to a computer. So in your box of tricks that you take with you, you will have a Mac connector and you will have a PC connector that goes to different projectors. You are the one responsible for that, not the people that are in charge of the event. Do not rely on the person that is organizing the event, despite what they say. Do not rely on them to have everything that you need. You need to take everything you're going to need, and that will include a Mac lead and a PC lead. There you go, you're set. Those are the two things you're going to need. I started to travel with my own projector in the end. I got this groovy little projector, and it didn't cost much at all because I got it on special. And I just traveled with my own. If the house one was working, well and good. But I always knew in the back of my mind that I had a projector that I could plug straight into and that it would work. And that is important. That is really, really important. So maybe not for your first talk, but you could look at borrowing one for your first talk. But a little further down the line, it never hurts to have your own little projector. The big ones, of course, those big ceiling projectors cost a fortune, but the little ones, they're not so bad. And in a squeeze, in a pinch, it's good to have them there. Better to have nothing, have something, than to have nothing. So that's what I did in the end. And so I knew pretty well that I was taken care of. You need to have a big long extension cord and all of those sorts of things. So get that all set up. Get your presentation working. We've already talked about know your presentation backwards, so you don't have to flick through. You know what you're going to say. That's kind of the affirmation that you would have there is everything's taken care of. I know everything's taken care of. And every cell in your body will know, because you've done the hard work in setting everything up properly. The next thing you're going to do, well, probably not the next thing, you will have done that initially, but you will go around and you will introduce yourself to important people in the room. And the reason that you'll know there's some there is because you will have asked the person who is booking you. You get them to tell you, well, the question you ask is, are there any VIPs in the room that I need to be aware of? Are there any people that are important to your organisation and that I should, A, meet before I go on, and B, should I mention them during the talk? Very important. That's a great little tip. I think Matt Church taught me that one. If there's somebody important in the room, it is important for you to mention them. And it's just, all you have to say is, and it's so lovely to see blah, 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 who I understand is the la, la, la of your organisation here this evening. Isn't that awesome? Give them a hand. And look, a lot of this stuff is just plain good manners. It's recognising people that are important to the organisation. And so you'll be looking for who is the president, who's the secretary, who's the treasurer, all of those people. And you'll be able to see them in the room, because they'll be doing their roles when you rock up. You'll be able to see them. Important that you just nip over and introduce yourself and say hello. And what you're going to find is they're going to be surprised you've done that, because not many people do. Because manners are something that is sadly lacking in society these days, and not many people understand the power of good manners. So it's just good manners to go and introduce yourself to the people who have employed you. You might have only spoken to one person going up to the event, but there are many people on the committee who will have looked through the stuff that you have sent. They will have approved that you're going to speak. Often if you're dealing with committees, you will always have to send in a letter or something saying what you're going to talk about and give them a little outline. So they will know who you are. And for you to go up and acknowledge them, it is just plain good manners. But also remember that that person will also be the person who will be approving the next talk you may do for that organisation. And they will remember you. They will remember you as the person that had the good manners and the good grace to go up and say hello and learn a little bit about that person. So once you've got the dignitaries and that out of the way, the next lot of people you're going to talk to are the audience. And Michael Charest taught me how to do this, and I saw him do it at every speaking event. He did it, and oh man, I was so nervous the first time I did it. But I also had the joy of attending World's Greatest Speaker Training in Santa Clara. It's Brendan Burchard's big speaking event, and he has there a gentleman called Roger Love, who is a voice coach. And I had the great joy and great pleasure to do a personal session with Roger Love in his Hollywood studio. If you Google Roger Love, ROGERLOVE, you will see just how amazing Roger is. And Roger was probably the most connected person. He had worked with the most celebrities of everybody on that stage because he's been teaching vocal coaching since the age of, I think, 15. When his vocal coach had to go away, and he says, "Oh, Roger, you're doing so well. Can you look after my clients?" And Roger goes, "Oh, yeah, okay. Tell me what to do." And he says, "Oh, whatever you do will be fine because you're just so fabulous." Well, the first person to turn up as Roger's client was Luther Vandross, who back in the 70s was a very famous artist, and Luther was Roger's very first client, and he's worked with the who's who of everybody in Hollywood, from movie stars, many movie stars. He taught Joaquin Phoenix and Reese Witherspoon to sing for Walk the Line, the Johnny Cash tribute movie. They had never sung before, and they got a Grammy for their performance. That's how good he is. Now, at one point, Roger, there's 800 people in the room. And at one point, we were standing in the queue waiting to get into the event, and there's a bit of whenever something happens in the queue, there's a bit of excitement starts to build. And what it was, Roger was coming through the queue, waiting to get into the room, and he introduced himself over the weekend to every single person in the room. 800 people. He shook 800 people's hands over the weekend. If there was anybody that didn't need to do that, it was Roger. And that is what you are going to do. Before you speak, obviously, if there's time, and make sure there's time, remember, this is why we get there early. We go out into the crowd, and it's important you don't get into the conversation of the group. You just go around and you just say to people, "Hi, my name is Margaret Gill." You put your hand out to shake their hand, and you go, "I'm your speaker for the night." And you go around every single person in that room and you introduce yourself. "Hi, I'm Margaret Gill," or whatever your name is, don't say my name. "Hi, I'm Margaret Gill, and I'm your speaker for the night." Now, what you're looking for there is the people who are vibrant and alive. And you will find them. Most people go, "Oh, hello." They're like this, they're really embarrassed that you've talked to them. Those people aren't, well, there's nothing wrong with those people, but the ones you're looking for are the ones that go, "Oh, hi, Margaret, I've heard about you. I'm so pleased you're coming tonight." And you go, "Oh, lovely." And you look at their name tag if they've got one on, and you memorize their name. So if it's Mary, it's Mary. And you go, "And what do you do in the organisation, Mary?" So you have a very short chit-chat to Mary. And during your talk, you then have the opportunity to say, "Oh, I was speaking to Mary a little bit earlier, and Mary said this about that." Oh, man, powerful. Because what does that tell Mary? It tells Mary you were listening to her, And what's most people's problem in this crazy old bankrupt emotional world at this time is that people don't listen anymore. People don't stop to listen to people anymore. So Mary knows you heard her, but then the rest of the room go, oh, that's nice, she knows Mary. And you only need to remember 3 names and 3 facts, and you can just intersperse that into the talk. It's magic. It's absolutely magical stuff. And when you can get to these levels of detail with people and you shake their hand, now you might not think you've made an impact there, but those people will remember that you made the effort to go and meet them. I remember Roger, because he connected with me in a way, when he shook my hand, he connected with me in a way that I know he cared. He cared in that moment. He said to me, he looked me straight in the eye and he said, "Hi Margaret, I'm Roger Love and it's a pleasure to meet you." Because he was looking at, we all had name badges, because I went, how does he know my name? We've got name tags on, so that was what he was doing. But he didn't have to do that. We would have respected him anyway. So here's one of the most respected men on the stage has now just, Roger is just awesome to me. He's just absolutely awesome because he did that. And I've seen Michael do it, and it's powerful, and I've done it myself, and it's powerful as all get out, I can tell you. And it gives you little tips about the audience as you're going through. And some of them will talk to you and say, they'll know what you're going to talk about and say, oh, I've had this problem. And so you can say, oh, I know that Mary was telling me earlier that she had this problem. And it's important that you put that in, because if Mary's got it, you can bet the rest of the audience have got it as well. If Mary's highlighted it, the rest of the audience have. What's really important though is you keep moving. Don't get stuck with the bore who's going to bang on. And just the thing to say there is, look, I've just got to keep moving. I hope to meet as many people as I can before I go on. Excuse me. And just excuse yourself, because you don't want to be just talking to one person. You want to shake as many hands as you can. Like they say in the States, you got to get skin in the game, and 2 hands together. It's very, very powerful. So, and then you're going to go on, and you're going to find yourself a little bit of quiet space before you're due to go on. You're going to center. You're going to do your affirmations. You're going to confirm that it's going to be a good talk. You're going to confirm that you're in the right place and you are the person here for them. That's what it's about. And then you go on and you just do what you do, and you just, once you're on, there's nothing else you can do but be remarkable. And what I want you to do this week is go out and be remarkable too.